Hi,
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. I have started recording the Zoom meeting, but
Okay,
we can like do a quick chat for like 3 minutes before we start. So,
okay.
how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Good.
just tired. How are you?
Uh, I'm going through a lot.
You're going through a lot, ne? What's
yeah,
going on with you?
yeah, I'm trying to balance my art, my content, school, endorsement deals, and all that, everything.
Mm,
At the same time, it's terrible.
it's a lot.
Yeah, I think you can relate because, it's
No, I'm literally
so,
here right now, just trying to like organize myself before, like I
you
was like
know,
making.
like, me too. Like, I have a lot of sticky notes on my table, kind of,
Let me show you my wall.
whoa. That's epic. That's epic. As for me, I only like, as for me, I only have like a pad, like a notepad
Mhm.
where I just like scribble stuff because
I feel
I,
like it's better to just be in one place. I think I'm overstimulating myself. I need to even like take this down and start all over again.
sure. Anyway, I'm sure you received the questions that I sent to you on Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think we should like start now.
yeah, I'm sure.
Which other language are you comfortable to speak apart from English?
I speak English,
Okay, oh, fine, cool,
but I can
cool.
understand Shona though. I just will reply in English.
No. If you can't speak it, let's not get to it. Let's just use English because I want this to be perfect. Anyway,
Okay.
let's get to the questions. Hi, Sai, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
Thank you very much for accepting this interview. I'm sure I could, squeeze in and fit into your tight schedule. I think so. I think I
Yes,
managed.
I think so.
Okay, let me get to the questions. Like the first question is like, what does mental health mean to you? Like, what does it mean in your world?
Hmm.
What's mental health in your world?
Okay. I think for myself, mental health has always been something that I think having gone through it myself and dealing with like mental health issues when I was younger and stuff, that's kind of why I decided, one of the reasons why I decided to do social work and get that as a degree, because I
Mhm.
just felt like it was something that I was really inclined to wanting to work, work with people that are struggling, work with children, work with, different people in different circumstances. And so mental
Right.
health is actually like a huge thing. It's a huge thing in my life.
Yeah, me too. I do social work as well. I'm a social work
Oh,
student, right?
really?
Yeah, I'm a social work student right now. I'm doing international social work at the University of
Oh, that's
Gävle
amazing.
here in Sweden. Yeah, I'm also doing social work because I feel like mental health is something that's really important, and I feel like people are really sleeping on it, and they're not like
Hmm.
talking about it much. It's very important, and people are like not giving it the adequate attention. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think I'm looking forward to change the landscape of things as
Hmm.
an international social work student. So, okay. The second question, if you're comfortable with it, you can like briefly share a little bit about your mental health journey, like
Hmm.
your experiences, so that like other people who are listening might be motivated or like inspired. Or they might learn something from your experiences and also my experiences.
Okay. Um, I'd say from a very young age, I'd always been very conflicted in dealing with like, feelings of depression. I always used to deal with a lot of anxiety, panic attacks. That was definitely something that I had only up until early adulthood I now started being able to deal with. I think growing up for me was just quite difficult. I grew up with my grandparents, I didn't grow up with my parents and stuff like that. I moved around a lot. I think I'd been to like 12 schools by the time I was like 16.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it had been a very crazy time for me. I think I was also feeling very alone a lot of the time and, having thoughts of
Mm,
suicide and all of these things. That's something that I'd frequently dealt with. But yeah, that's basically me. Yeah.
wow. Okay. I'm really touched. Like I didn't know you had to go through all that. Like I'm really touched. As for me, I think um, on the aspect of mental health, I think I went through a lot of like body shaming from like
Hmm.
primary school till even like high school, like even adults, even
Hmm.
teachers participated. They were even like part and parcel of that body
Hmm.
shaming thing. And
Hmm.
like you can't tell it to anyone. It's not like something that people really, care about because
Yeah, and talk about,
like,
yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
you are slim, so what? So, but then,
Mm,
it's like a lot on one's mind. But then, as time went on, I had to get into the debate club, the peace club. I had to do a
mm,
lot of stuff. I had to be an inter club president,
mm,
a prefect, a head boy at a particular point, so that like I try to, to gain a particular, skin, to grow a skin or to gain some kind of like immunity, so
to
that
be able to
I
do that. Mm,
exactly. So like that's how I got around it. But then,
mm,
life also like brings other things to worry
yes, for sure.
about from like apart from that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's also my journey.
Hmm.
Okay, the third question is how have you structured your daily routine to ensure that you have a stable mental well-being? Like, how have you structured your daily routine?
Okay. So this is one thing that I talk about a lot, like in my YouTube and stuff, is some of the things that I actively try to do in order to help my mental health. So I've started reading a lot of books and the 5 a.m. club and stuff, and they kind of teach you how to have good routines in your day so that you don't fall into patterns of depression and anxiety. And so meditating has been something that I try to do every single day. I journal,
Yes,
I exercise, try to eat well. I try to be very conscious about how I live every single day now. Like every single day, there's always something that I do that makes me feel good about myself. Even if like, things around are not going so well, at least I can actively try to do these things to make sure that my mental health is stable. I think these are the things that we need to be teaching people, holistic ways in order for people
exactly.
to actually healthily deal with their emotions. So that whenever I feel anger or anything, I just write it down. I let it go and I put it away instead of harboring like I used to before and harboring a lot of pain and resentment within myself. So yeah, that's definitely one thing for me. It completely changed my life is literally having a routine and actually working on these things every single day. Some days, of course, like I have my days when I don't wake up on time and I don't get things done, but at least I'm trying to put the effort in. And now I'm at a point where I can say that I'm definitely way past where I used to be for a very long time. For a long period of time, I used to feel a certain type of way. But ever since I started doing these things, it's all just been fizzling away, and with time, I'll be very good, I'm sure.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
That's so inspirational. Then I have adopted this Japanese way of doing things, the ikigai. They call it like ikigai.
I just finished reading that.
Yeah, like yeah,
It's an
like
amazing book.
finding a
Mm,
purpose. So like as for
yeah.
me, arts and content creation, poetry, film, acting, music,
Hmm.
all all those things, I see them as like a purpose, like something that I, something that pushes me to like to wake up every single day.
Yes.
And like it also makes me look forward to another day, like every single day. Because
Yes,
like
because you're
I'll
also
be thinking,
planning, you're hopeful for the future. Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
above all, helping people has always been something that has been, in in my thoughts and feelings like every day. I have
Hmm.
been, I've been so useful in the society and in the community ever since I was like 12. I took up a role in like a church to become like a Sunday school teacher, like teach
Hmm.
kids. So it's
Oh, that's
like,
lovely. Mm.
so like I have been, trying to find a purpose in my life, and I have
Hmm.
managed.
That's amazing. I love
So
that.
yeah, that's like how I've structured my daily routine.
Mhm.
So the fourth question is, what are your views in terms of how people of color deal with mental health issues? Like, what are your
Mhm.
views in terms of how, particularly us Africans, how do we, how do we deal with mental health issues? Like, what's your view about it?
I think this is like a long-standing conversation
Hmm.
that we've been, touching in and out of, but not really like, taking the initiative to really jump on it because, it's important for us to let's say, for example, in schools, we
Hmm.
don't take things like counseling and stuff, as something that's really important to have for children,
Exactly.
because we don't believe that children can have depression. I remember growing up for myself,
Hmm. Hmm.
I stayed with my aunt at some point, and I remember I was explaining to her how I was feeling, and she told me, African Black people don't get depressed, and this is the,
Exactly, exactly,
you know,
exactly. Like
you
what?
know, this is the
We
notion that they
we
have.
also get like
We get
depressed.
we feel things
Yeah,
because the way your body also feels things and changes and fluctuates is the same as your mind. It's just that,
exactly.
we need to put the same importance that we put on physical health should be put on mental health, should be put on sexual health. All of these things are important to
Everything
focus
should be balanced. Exactly. Like everything
exactly.
should
There's
be.
a level of ignorance towards
Mhm.
that conversation. I think it's just an inherent, like, fear over a long period of time because of, this is like breaking generational curses that we have to do, in our general society. It's not easy
Exactly.
because people are thought a certain way for so long. We have this idea as Black people that we must push, we must push. You can't show weakness. You can't show weakness.
Exactly.
That's the
You
problem.
can't
And
break
then,
down. Yes, you can't
but
afford
sometimes
to
you
be
have
weak.
to. Sometimes you have to cry and let it
Mhm.
out. But we need to start creating more positive environments for people to feel free to be able to talk about themselves. I noticed a lot with men. I like to have a lot of conversations with guys about, the experiences that they're going through and how they feel. And you see that they find it so difficult to be able to even express
Yeah, yeah,
how they
because like
feel.
like as a guy, when I like go through a lot of like stuff, and if I feel like this thing is not sitting well with me, you know, I find it very hard for me to express it or to let it out because like the society is already expecting me to be this Superman, this superhero, to be
Your
this
whole life
Spider-Man.
you've been told to be a
Exactly.
strong man. Shut up.
So
Don't say anything. Mm,
exactly. So, it's kind of terrible.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it is what it is, but we have to, make sure that we create an atmosphere or a society that will be very conducive for people to
Mhm.
live and survive there.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
okay. So, is art an avenue of peace for you? Do you
Hmm.
find peace when you're doing art or like music? Do you?
I think that's the one thing. Okay, I'll explain to you, even how I've kind of got to this point where I am, that thing you're
Mm-hmm,
saying about finding a purpose.
mm-hmm.
I think, last year for me, I'm sure you noticed that all of a sudden I just popped up this year. Now I'm like flooding Instagram and I'm like posting every single day. It's because last year
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I was
yeah.
like in a dark, dark place. And I couldn't understand what it is that I was supposed to do in life. Like I couldn't understand what my purpose was. And that's when I really sat down and I kind of tapped into a very spiritual place and I asked God, actually, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Because leaving and having done my degree, and it was like I could go and do social work and do all of that, but my body and my spirit, everything was telling me that I must do music. This is what will make me happy. I don't think I'm somebody that likes to be in the system. And so I had to fight a lot, especially like family and stuff to say, listen, I know I got my degree, but I'm gonna do this music thing because this is where I find my
Oh,
happiness. And I know in the long run, I will use my social work. It will be a part of everything that I'm doing because that's the whole idea of why I do music artists because it's something that makes me feel good and happy. And I like to show other people that you can do anything that you set your mind on. You just need to work. And
exactly, exactly.
definitely a source of
Yeah,
peace.
yeah, because at the end of the day, you have like the final decision over your own life. Because even if
Mm,
like other people like, oh, don't do this, but at the end of the day, you have the final decision. So
exactly.
I'm really proud of you, and I'm really
Thank you.
glad. Yeah, like I'm really glad that you stood up for yourself and you stood up for what you want and what you believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's just like something that every African child or every African youth goes through because
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, because of the generational gap and all that. It's a struggle.
Mhm.
So finally, what are the tips that you can give to other people who are also going through mental health struggles, depression, stress, anxiety, and everything?
Mhm.
Um, what tips can you give to them? Any
I
tips?
think number one is definitely talk to somebody, you
Mm-hmm.
know, find
Yeah.
somebody, even if it's one person or two people, whoever that you feel safe enough to express how you feel. I think also going to somebody who you know can provide for you something, actively going out of your way to try to create a better space for yourself. It's not easy because I think, you'll be feeling there's a lot of emotions and a lot of pain. But I think that's the important thing about creating a bit of a community around your support system is really important. As you have a support system around you, it helps you to be able to support yourself over time. Um, Understanding that you're not alone and that there's so many people that have experienced things that you've gone through and that this is just a phase in your life. I think that finding ways in order to cope is the most important thing. The days will come and pass, but you need to actively work on how to find a way to cope, with the daily challenges of life. Even when things are good, things are difficult, you're still able to maintain a good mindset for yourself. But that really just comes with like a lot of time and effort and, talking to people who can provide that help for you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Above all, thank you very much for for joining and contributing. Sometimes other people find it very very difficult for them like to share their own experiences.
Mhm.
It's really difficult to find someone who's like very open and eager and
Yes.
passionate about mental health, and anyone who's like free to share their own
Mhm.
experience. Like, um, I have been searching for someone to do this like
Mhm.
for over a period of like 7 months, and
Wow.
you're the only person who accepted. So
Really?
yes, people are
Serendipity.
not free to talk about these issues like
But
publicly.
I realized, the important thing, how you get people to trust you and to be able to, lean on you is that you have to open up, that space yourself. You have to be open in order to
Exactly. Exactly.
feel.
So, it is what it is. Thank you very much for joining. Let me end the recording so that we can have another conversation off
Okay.
record. Okay. Let me end the recording.